Good evening. Tonight I'm working on a watercolor painting of a seated nude. Um, I've already begun the background a little bit, trying to get the shape. My sketch was previously done, so I'm just starting from as you see it, and I'll be um, completing it as we go. Hi, Randy. I'm so glad you're here. I hope you had a great week. Yeah, it's been cold, but I really can't complain too much. It's I like the mild winters, so I'm cold my whole life. It's nice to have a mild winter. How cold are we talking? Like what temperature? Oh, yeah, that's pretty cold. It's like no degrees. So I had started this painting last week with the intention of live streaming, but it didn't work out. So I just left it as it was and decided to try again this week. And so far, the streaming is working. So hopefully, we'll actually finish a painting tonight. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. We go by Fahrenheit in the States, and I was thinking that's not much above 0 Fahrenheit. It's pretty cold. Hi, Papua. Thank you. I'm really fond of these colors. I recently saw, um, I don't know, a wall in like January Vogue magazine that was painted in shades of teal and blue and green, and I was inspired by that color palette. So hopefully the colors are coming across well. It is kind of a teal, a dark green, and then I've got a bright green kind of mixed in there as well. Oh, good. Thank you for the feedback, Randy. And I really am going to make a concentrated effort this weekend to not get too lost in the process of painting where I forget to talk and I don't engage in comments. So that's never the intention. It's just a very different process of painting while people are watching as opposed to when they're not. And so I guess just working here on getting a background kind of filled in so that figure really jumps out. And then I'll start working on the figure. Yeah, it's tough to do it while somebody's looking over your shoulder too. Oh, Randy writes that he's learning what steps I take. And these may not be accurate. It had been a very long lapse in years between when I had worked with watercolors on a really regular basis to now when I work with watercolors. So I think I'm picking it up again. But yeah, these are my steps. I'm not sure if it's the right way to do it, but it's a way to do it. How long have I been painting? Um, for as long as I could hold a paintbrush. um, my grandmother on my mother's side was um, painted with oils in the house growing up. My mother would sometimes use watercolors. I think at some point she took a oil painting class that was plein air oil painting class, which is essentially painting outdoors. And I would go along with her, and I had to have been before school age when that was happening. But so, you know, at 4 or 5, I was seeing people paint and kind of really enchanted with the smell of oil paints and the process of painting, and just always really impressed with it. And I would finger paint and watercolors as they were available. So I've really always been painting. So I've got my pre-mixed flesh tones here. This is a new set of watercolors. They're tubes, they're liquid watercolor. So I've used the basic peach color and a yellow ochre mixed together. I feel like that's a more natural hue for skin tones. Just a peek at my color palette here. Again, I'm not sure how well those colors are coming across on the internet, but just the skin tone, the yellow ochre, brown. I think I've got a burnt umber, burnt sienna. That's supposed to be yellow, pale green, Prussian blue, and some kind of teal. I did the sketch ahead of time, but it is from a photo. So I guess yes and no. I have used a photograph for this, but I'm not for the painting process. Yeah. No, no model sitting off camera. That's why you see me in so many of my paintings, because models like to get paid, and I have uh, a model budget. So hopefully by now you can kind of see what the painting is of. When you get into the curves and roundness of the body, I find that watercolor is a little harder to define those areas. But I'm gonna do my best to fill in the bottom half and the rear side of my drawing here to give it depth and shape and dimension. And shadows. So it's been a while since I've used the liquid watercolor, which comes in little tubes. Um, little tubes. But what I'm remembering now that I'm using them again is how nice it is that they really retain that richness of color, um, as opposed to dry watercolors. And maybe I've just used cheap dry watercolors my whole life, but um, the tube watercolor has a lot more pigment, and it's a nicer option for painting with. Actually, do I sell these? Yes. I opened an online store today on my website. I have a lot of art up for sale currently on the website, and it's going to be updated often. Um, my goal for the online shop is to have a wide range of prices and items. So when a lot of stuff that I work on is larger scale. Obviously, it costs more, but um, my goal is to have something that everyone can afford. So a variety of price ranges, a variety of sizes of art is is the ultimate goal. It seemed I looked over here and it looked like I had missed a comment. I missed the comment about Vogue. You're not a Vogue reader? How do you know what all the latest fashions are? I'm sure I could ship to Canada. I mean, I think once there once you're shipping to different continents, I think is when it really gets difficult. So I would definitely be willing to ship to Canada. But yeah, check it out. I'm very proud of it, because it's been a goal for a long time to get it done, and it's finally up and running. So I would love to have you check out the store, um, and yeah, I'm I'm really pleased with myself. I've already completed one of my New Year's goals, so go me. Gotta go with a smaller brush at this point. One of the things that had been pointed out to me about this particular source photograph was um, the elegance and the interest that was created in this photograph by having this little bit of face visible just behind the hair. So I think that was a valid point, and it was an appreciated observation. This is one. It is based on one of my photographs that I took. So a little more background. Oh yeah, you should set up a store for your photographs. That would be awesome. I mean, one of the things is that you already have going for you is that you already have so much interest in your photography and your photographs. So I've had this long time love of painting and drawing hair. I love the little tendrils that are created in hair. And I really enjoy doing it. And it's kind of extended into just texture in general now. I really enjoy painting hair, fabric, just texture. Uh-oh. Got some dripping that I don't necessarily want. Okay, let's see. Free up my arms a little. Oh, the video with the handfuls of hair, the the stretch fabric from the company that creates special effects fur. Yeah, I think it will be an interesting project. There's just so many stories and tales or lore of Mary Magdalene, and trying to imagine the or reimagine, I guess, the painting that I saw of the from the Renaissance of Mary wandering the desert covered in body fur. Um, I just I don't think my imagination is vivid enough, so I feel like I need to create that to see what it would look like. Let's see if I can't get in here and get these hands worked out. It's a difficult angle for hands, but the backs of the palms with the fingers facing forward, but you can still see the fingers. It's going to be interesting to paint accurately. So any big plans for the weekend? Creative projects, social outings? I think my big plan for the weekend is to finish up a large canvas painting I've been working on. That's the awesome thing about photography. There's so many interesting things to see. And it's and fun to take anywhere. Well, let me take that back. It's not always easy to take the camera equipment, and sometimes it's challenging, but there have been more times than not that if I didn't take a camera, I wish I had. Yeah, that's lugging around the full kit is troublesome. The the instant cameras are fun, but they're not great for sharing online. What kind of camera do you have that you go light with, that you take with you? Well, folks, I think I have completely saturated my paper here. And I don't know that I'm going to be able to get in here and really do any details. I have the background in my kind of my base colors. This surface is white, so I don't think I'm going to be able to really complete much more on this tonight. Oh, nice. I'm still learning that's those both sound like awesome cameras. I'm still learning with the really good digital camera that I have now. Um, and I feel like I'm in a little over my head as far as the digital cameras that do everything go. but I'm learning. And I think that once I get there, I'll really enjoy using the digital cameras. So nice. Like I said, I think that's about what I can get done on this tonight. Just the basic colors in place. Can't go in with a whole lot of detail at this point. Um, my paper is saturated. Um, my light's not that great, but thank you, Papua and uh, Randy, for being here. I really appreciate you both. Check out the store online, and um, I'll see you soon. Thanks a lot, guys. Good night. Good night.